What's up, guys and gals? My name is Roy and you're watching Roy's Customs, and today I got a few little tips for you on getting like really great results out of dent repair using body filler. The first little tip I have for you is actually if you're doing this on a budget and you just get the basic $8 a can quart of body filler, which is still good enough to actually do the repair with, but you might want to go ahead and take that quart and actually use about an ounce of fiberglass resin. Add about an ounce to your whole quart, stir it up real good, and get that mixed in, and so it'll thin it out some, make it a lot easier to spread. But what you do have to remember is with every little pat that you make, with every little batch that you make, you'll have to use at least a couple of drops of the fiberglass resin hardener in order to get a good solid product out of it for after it gets dried and set. So you'll want to make sure that you do that. And my second little tip actually involves getting down in here and actually doing this. So I do have a tiny dent. Now this little dent probably wouldn't matter to a lot of people, but if you're looking to do some show quality and you want a really nice smooth surface, you're probably going to want to get this dent out of here. You can see it's not a very big dent, and most people probably wouldn't even care about it if it was just on their daily driver. But if you're trying to do show quality, you want to get rid of that. So we're going to get rid of that, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to actually want to sand this out bigger than the area that the dent is in. You're going to want to have a pretty good sized area sanded out. I use 120 to knock it all down. Now it doesn't have to be all the way down to bare metal, but you do want to get all of your clear coat off of the area that you're working with. Okay, so now that you have your spot sanded down, you can feel where it's at. So now what you're going to need to do is you're going to actually need to give it a really good wipe down, and I always wipe down dry, and then I will use a rag that actually has a little bit of lacquer thinner on it to clean it up really well. It doesn't leave a residue, it gets it really clean, and it gets rid of like oil and other contaminants too. So we're going to do that. Okay, so now that we've got that part done, it's sanded, it's cleaned, and now it's ready for a little bit of body filler. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix up our body filler that we've already mixed with the fiberglass resin to thin it out some. So we just need a very small little pat of it, because it's not a very big hole, not a very big dent. Don't forget, we got to put maybe a little drop on there, and then we put a very tiny drop because it's a very small amount of body filler, so it's not going to make that much. So we're going to mix it up, mix in your resin hardener, mix in your cream hardener. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually put it over the spot that it needs to be. Means it's not a very big hole, and you always want to go with the contour. You're not to go against it by any means, and you want to kind of build it up a little bit, because all you're really trying to do is cover the whole. Okay, so now we got the body filler in place. We have it built up a little bit so that it's actually over the height that it really needs to be. You want to make it a little thick. That way you can try to get it in one fell swoop. You won't always get it in one fell swoop. You may have to go over it at least one more time. But the dent was so small that you should be able to get it in one go. So we're gonna let that set up. It takes about 30 minutes for standard Bondo to actually set up. So okay, so now that it's knocked down some, you're going to be able to feel that it's still raised up. Obviously, a orbital sander or a DA will not do show quality. It probably won't even do great quality, but that is why once we get it knocked down real quick with the DA, then we want to take our sanding block with some 220, and then we want to sand it. Now, you don't just want to go up and down. That's not going to help you out. What you want to do is you want to go up and down in a diagonal. The diagonal direction, up and down, and you want to alternate it. You want to keep it flat and steady, and you want to follow your contours, and you go one direction one way, and then you go the other direction coming back the other way. And doing this actually ensures that you get a nice even cut all the way across it. Because if you're just doing this, you're not really gonna get a nice even cut. You want to give it a cross hatching, and you'll be able to feel if it's smooth or not when it's done. You take your hand across it and you'll be able to feel. Like in here, I know I still need to sand, but up in here, it seems to be relatively smooth. So it was probably more than just the one dent that was in there, but the one dent is mostly what you saw. Okay, so now that we've got it cross-hatched, and from what I can tell, from what I can feel, the dent is actually gone now, and apparently there was some more low spots that needed filled in, so those are gone now too. Okay, so now that you've gotten that taken care of, you can give it a good wipe down. Okay, so we're going to take a little lacquer thinner and we're going to clean this up real good, and then I'm going to shoot it with some primer. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shoot it with some black primer. Now, when you do this, make sure that your primers actually work together. These are both from Rust-Oleum, so these should be compatible with each other. For the bottom coat, and then wait until that dries, and then go ahead and hit it with another coat of, say, the gray. And what this is actually going to do whenever you block sand this again, because you're going to want to block sand it again, and then that's going to help you find any low spots. It'll actually even help you find high spots if there is any. So we're going to let the black dry, and then I'm going to shoot it with the gray, and then let that dry, and then we're going to go over it with I think I got some 320, so we're going to go over it with some 320 whenever I get that taken care of. So now that it's dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit it up with the gray primer. That way I can get to the next part of this and show you guys the rest of it. Okay, now that we've got that much done and we have our coat of black primer and our coat of gray primer stacked on top of each other, and now that it's dry, we're ready for our 320 block sand. Now, we're gonna hope that we've got it in the first shot, but if not, this will tell us if we've got it or not. So now, using the same techniques in a cross-hatching pattern, you have to remember to knock off some of the excess. You're gonna see that it's gonna pile up on there anyways, no matter what you try to do when you're dry sanding. Now, if you want to go one step further, you can actually do 400 or 420 if you want to. I've never really had to. I've always gotten great results at stopping at 320. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit this up with some 400. And now I'm going to hit it. Now I'm going to hit it with the 400. Well, actually, it is 420. So, anyways. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually wipe this down really good with some lacquer thinner, and then I'm going to shoot it with one more coat of primer. The reason I'm doing that is because my body work isn't done and I'll have to do a full body sand again anyways. But this does tell me I did not find any low spots. I didn't find any high spots. This does tell me that I did get it the way that it should be. So these are just some simple things that you can do. Just take a little bit of extra time, especially if you want good quality results. If this is your show car, even if it's like your first car you're doing just to learn on, well, this is something that you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to understand that it takes time to get it done right. You can't just bing bang boom and it's done. It doesn't work that way. And especially if you are looking for show quality, you're gonna want to put extra effort into it to get that show quality that you're looking for. Like I say, this thing is amazing. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shoot it with one more coat of primer. I do want to mention one thing real quick. I'm not going to shove this stuff in your guys' face or anything, but I do have t-shirts now. One of them, my first shirt says, "My car built my way." My second shirt says, "Boost it till it breaks." And my third shirt actually says, "Build your own dream car." And so those are my little attempt at trying to raise a little YouTube funding. So anyways, if you decide that you would like to check those out, link is in the description for all three of them. There'll be separate links. So anyways, there you have it, and I think that's going to be it for this video. So I appreciate you guys watching, and feel free to subscribe, like the video, hit the notifications. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're old to the channel, thank you. And have a spectacular day or night, whichever one it is for you. Peace out. This will actually be finished for now, although I do still have some other spots that need filled in along the door and stuff. But this video was to show you the process and give you the tips that you need to get some amazing results from doing body work yourself. You don't need a bunch of fancy expensive tools. You're gonna have to do a lot of work by hand anyways to get that good show quality finish anyways. So you don't have to have a stud gun if you don't want. There are more advanced ways of fixing dents and stuff, but this is like step one in learning. You learn to fill in with the body filler. That's kind of the first thing you learn how to do. At least that's the first thing I learned how to do, was to fill in with body filler. But these aren't like big giant, my Uncle Jojo came over drunk one night and kicked my door in dents. So, you know, these are just basic little dents that you want to get rid of, and so that you can have a nice, smooth, perfect finish in the end. So, like I say, this will get you to the next stage, which I will show you the next step as I get to it, but I still need to finish all these spots around this whole car, and I'm going to do them all the same way, and I'm going to go over them all and give them a primer coat, and then when we get to that point, then I'll show you all that stuff too.